Hello everyone and welcome back to Lakeside. Going to be a kind of a brief video, this one again. The point of this video really is about the backstory to Lakeside. And this started off back in 2016. So I had started in 2013 where I had my little layout on the kitchen floor, if you remember. And then in 2013 I got together, 2016, I got together with my friend Ian from Hull, who lives up in Hull, and we sat down and discussed the backstory to Lakeside. So I wrote a brief history, if you like, of what I thought would be a good backstory, explaining all the different pieces on the layout, which obviously wasn't built at that time. And Ian is a very, very good author. He's got a lovely Yorkshire accent as well, and so I got him to narrate it. And that's really what I want you to watch in this video, because the newer subscribers wouldn't probably have seen this, and some of you would have seen it from way back when, but there's a lot who have subscribed since then who wouldn't have seen this backstory, and it kind of gives you a reasoning. Well, oh yeah, okay, I understand that now. Now that was for the very first Lakeside, which of course has now been taken down. This version has come from that first version. But what I've tried to do is to still keep the same ethos in this layout as I did the first layout. There are things which have changed, because in the first layout I had a upper running section going round. This time I haven't. I've got a canal, well, part of a canal, which I didn't have on the first one, but generally on the whole pretty much everything is kind of relevant. So anyway, watch this little part of the video, because it will make kind of sense of what Lakeside is all about, especially the manor house over there, because that is the key fundamental point of the layout. Everything revolves around the manor house and its owners. So this hasn't been put up, oh I think I'll put that there, I'll put that there. It has been kind of planned. So that's that. I have done some more work on the yard, and I'll show you that now, really. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll speak to you later. Okay, bye for now. Bye. Hello again. Unfortunately the sun is, well, not unfortunately but fortunately I guess, the sun is beaming through that window, and it's kind of bleaching out that area there, but hopefully you'll be able to see what's going on. I haven't done too much, but what I have done was stuff which needed to be done. The first thing is the track around the turntable. When I first did that, I just laid the track straight onto these cobbles. Looking at it, I wasn't really happy with that. These tracks had to be inset within the cobbles. So what I've done, I've gone through and I've taken out the sections of cobbles, so that the track lays flat onto the surface beneath these cobbles. So it's much flatter now, and it now lines up perfectly with the track on the bridge of the turntable. So I've gone round and I've done that to all the track. Nothing you would probably notice, but it is done. So that's that section, and it all works still perfectly. The next thing I have done is, oh yeah, this, the man down the oval. So the first thing I did was that I painted the manhole cover, because I had a couple of comments, and quite rightly so, that it reminded a couple of people of a chocolate digestive. When I looked at it and saw it, I thought, actually, do you know what? It does look like a chocolate digestive, because it was kind of brown chocolatey colour. So what I've done, I've now painted that in a weathered black. So it takes away that chocolate effect. Hopefully it does anyway. And the strange thing is, it wasn't until they said it that I couldn't unsee the chocolate digestive sitting there. But anyway, that's done now. There's not much I can do about that. It's a manhole cover. And the other thing is, I've now got a tripod there. Now that tripod is for supporting the chap when he goes down the hole. If anything untoward happens, they can winch him up from this tripod. So it's a safety factor really. And I got that from a friend of mine who commented, and I mean, this guy goes up and down manholes all the time, that's his job. And he said that really what's missing there is that tripod with a winch on the top, just there, and a support going and tied around him. So I've made that up out of styrene rod, painted it and weathered it, and I think that now completes that scene. And the last thing, but not least, I guess, is that I've now put security fencing from here. This edge here will be walling all the way along to there. So this will be walling, and then round that side I have now got security fencing going all the way round to so far there. And I've just done some foliage around there, and it may look a bit whitish from the glue which is still drying off. So I've only just done that, but that'll be dried off by tomorrow morning. Just got a few little trees up against the fencing, and I've got some rubbish starting to take effect around the back area, spare wheels, odd bits of rail, etc. I've got the new engine waiting there for the 08, a couple of barrels on pallets. So the details are getting there. I still haven't laid down the paper, this paper, across here yet, because I learned when I put this down I was still spraying glue, etc., and it was getting onto the paper and making it crinkly and wet and everything. So I thought, right, what I'll do, I will wait until I've finished doing that fencing, etc., and the ballasting around here. Because this ballasting, this is one of the problems. I've run out of the black ballast now. This ballast, the black ballast, this stuff, that's going to continue on that part of the track through here, and that fence here will start again here and go across here, come across with some gating, and across here. Where's my finger gone? There, and across there. So that will secure the compound from people just wandering in. It is open to visitors to come round, and they can get their tickets from there. They can go down the lift, along, up that lift, along the platform and down. Of course I've got to yet fit walkways going across the track here for people to come across, but that will all be done in time. So it's getting there. It's a long job, long process, but it's getting there. I've still got to fit the smoke unit in the shed there. What else? Can't think of anything else, to be honest, but it is getting there. So there's a lot more ballasting yet to do, so I should be taking a trip up to Trains for You in Peterborough this week sometime to get some more foliage and some black ballast. Then hopefully I can finish that off. Okay, so that's about it for now. So the next part of the video will be the little story of Lakeside and how it came about. So I would advise you to watch that, because I think it's of interest, and it will probably give you an idea of the bits and pieces around Lakeside. But you have to remember that this was done in 2016 for the first layout, not this layout. But as I said previously, the same ethos applies to this layout as it did the first layout, albeit with subtle changes. But this effort is the kingpin, the manor house. That's where it all stems from. And the owner, or owners should I say, has had a few owners, but still maintains the family history, and indeed the family still live in that same house. Okay, so next part of the video really. So take care, and hope you've had an enjoyable weekend, and I will see you on the next video. Okay, so bye for now. Bye.
The beginning of Lakeside, summer 1797. It was one of those unforeseen events, trivial at the time, but would have enormous consequences in the future. John Ashley, a very successful London businessman, was travelling by stagecoach to Hull. As luck would have it, a large barge loaded with coal had collided with a wooden bridge that carried the road over the River Humber. The coach had to take a northerly detour to cross the river, and so added over 6 hours to the journey. As the sun began to set, he was stunned to see a beautiful lake on his left side, with gentle rolling hill behind it. Looking out the right-hand window, he could see the charred remains of what had been a grand Elizabethan house. The coach now slowed, and John was aware of a small village. They were entering with a beautiful village green, with cottages around its perimeter and a small church at one end. The coach stopped with a gentle lurch at an inn. John Ashley looked at the welcome sight of the Red Lion, its bright interior offering the promise of much-needed refreshment and a bed for the night. After a good night's sleep, John left early the following morning for Hull, and after his meetings had finished, he asked to be taken back to the village. That evening, in conversation with the landlord of the Red Lion, he discovered the burnt-out house had been destroyed during a battle in the Civil War. Royalist survivors from the battle had taken refuge in the house, only for the parliamentarians to lay siege. The two-day battle had ended when cannons were brought up to bombard the house. The house, already badly damaged, then caught fire and was totally destroyed, bar one small side wing and some outbuildings. On his return to London, John described the village lake and the ruined house to his wife Charlotte and made inquiries as to its present owners. After meeting with the current Lord Percy, the present owner of the land, a deal was agreed and John became the owner of 5,000 acres of prime East Yorkshire farmland, which included the lake, a trout river, ruined mansion and the village of Lakeside. Within 6 years, the Elizabethan ruin had been demolished, and in its place a fine manor house was erected, and the whole family moved from London. John had instructed the architect to place a library on the top floor with an uninterrupted view of the lake. In 1840, John Ashley's grandson William inherited the manor and the family business on the death of his father. Unlike his father and grandfather, William was a modern man and saw the land as a place of heavy industry, which meant workers, That of course meant houses and shops. The area would become a town he would own. The location of Lakeside is just 15 miles from the port of Hull to the south-east and the cities, towns, factories and coal mines of West and South Yorkshire to the south and west. Lakeside was ideally placed to profit from both these regions. The railway came to Lakeside in 1845. A small halt was built above the village. It had been a battle to convince the railway company to build the line, claiming it would be uneconomical to operate, but as always, William got his way. William had every intention of a grand terminus and through station being built near the new town of Lakeside. By 1855, the town of Lakeside needed a station and marshalling yard of its own. A bridge would need to be built across the lake for the second line. The North Eastern Railway insisted that it would be far too expensive for the company to build, so William agreed to fund the bridge if the railway company built the track station and marshalling yards. The NER agreed to his proposal. William set about talking to various engineers about the construction of a bridge across the lake. He finally settled on a design. The track would be suspended by wires from two large towers. He stood in the library with the blueprint of the bridge, held it up to the window and placed it above the lake. It was perfect and would only enhance the view he coveted. The line, station, marshalling yard and bridge were opened in 1861 with great ceremony. William had once again got his own way. The bridge, officially known as Lakeside Suspension Bridge, would always be known locally as Billy's Bridge. It's said his ghost still gazes out the library window as an express train rushes over the bridge late at night. Fast forward to 1965, the year Lakeside is set in. The main resident of the manor house nowadays is Lady Ashley Fawkes. Lord and Lady Ashley Fawkes had one son, another John, who is now the owner and manager of the large farm on the hill, plus the owner of the cafe on the corner of the village, to which he supplies fresh vegetables and bread, plus of course employs many people from the village to work either on the farm or other businesses that he runs. And just like all those years ago, some of the employees live in tight houses, mainly around the village green of Lakeside. Lady Ashley Fawkes is quite frail now, but the family line will be continued with John the farmer and his wife, plus their 3 children, Hannah, Rupert and Joshua. John and his family will no doubt move from the farmhouse into the manor house once the mother dies, but until then, he will be staying in the farmhouse.